Oh my gosh, Naomi is your WWE Raw Women's Champion. We're here to talk about WWE Evolution. Shocking ending, some fantastic in-ring on this. We're going to talk about it all, and we are so excited that you're here to join us with what has been a jam-packed weekend of wrestling, jam-packed weekend here at Fightful. This is my 5th post-show in 3 days. I am tired, but I am here for it. But what I need is your help. So get in those super chats, get in those humper chats at humperchats.com. Do leave a thumbs up on this video if you'd be so kind as well. We are like closing in on 190,000 subscribers, and I think that you guys are wonderful, and I think you're crazy and fantastic for doing that. We did a 3.5 hour review of All In yesterday, and you might be thinking that's insane, and yes it is, but we will remind you it was a 7-hour pay-per-view when you include the pre-show, so really it was half the time of the show. But we have some amazing women's wrestling to talk about. Naomi's huge cash-in moment, which will be one that goes down in history because I feel like it was when people genuinely weren't surprising. I feel like we always anticipate cash-in, so that's super interesting. Becky Lynch retaining, so much to talk about here. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the not so great stuff going into it. Like the build to this wasn't super, super great. But I think tonight, Cresta, kind of overall, we got something really special. What did you think?
I had a time. A time was had in the most complimentary way. This was a good pay-per-view, top to bottom. And with no build, that aside, man, look what happens when you let the ladies just grapple each other. Look what happens. I had made my only complaint, and I had said this off air, and I've said it on Twitter, and I'll say it again. SoCal Val was busy. Veda Scott was busy. Where are the femme commentators? Where are I was free. Me and Kate could have did it. I'm just saying for Evolution 3, because there absolutely needs to be after this one, there absolutely needs to be it. That's my only complaint. But out of that, if there was 10 out of 10, this is a 9.9. What a good show. What a good show. I have my little knife out. What a good show.
Okay, it was a good show. Damn. All right. It was a good show. I'm not going to argue with that if you're going to come out here with a knife, man. But you're not the only one who had that thought. Adelia saying, why was there an all-male commentary team on an all-women's PLE? And why did they constantly make everything sound sexual? The ladies deserve better. Yeah, that was weird. And that's not like normally Wade Barrett's bag. That was a little bit odd. But that was kind of my biggest complaint as far as the presentation, especially because we had Stephanie McMahon, who you and I joked about, like, obviously invented women's wrestling.
Obviously.
Like she was all over this show. Like she was everywhere on it. So you could have had her at the desk. You could have rotated some of your legends in and out. That would have been nice if you had like
Renee
their
Paquette
voices.
is right there. I don't care. She was
I think
she's right there. I don't care.
She's probably a little busy. But I don't know if Beth Phoenix is on a Legends deal or AEW bound. She was incredible on NXT. And even just like you had Jazz there, right? Like there are so many women's. You had Tori Wilson involved. Like you could have had people rotating in and out, I think, to break that up. Now I will say Wade Barrett, the weird sexualizing stuff aside, he's one of my favorites. And I thought Michael Cole, especially on the main event, was particularly great tonight. But like,
yes.
Where are your women's voices? And we're going to talk about all of that and more. But C. Delgado saying, haven't seen a feel-good ending like that since last night. So happy for Naomi. As Cresta knows, she put in the work in TNA before coming back. She deserves it. Yeah, I think
you can tell.
She's one of the very best. This is the chat of the town. As Parker Hines says, did not see Naomi cashing in on Rhea and Io, but I'm here for it. Either the main event or the women's triple threat was my match of the night.
No, I have to say the story between Io and Rhea, the way they were positioning it, I thought Rhea was about to go full on berserk. I'm like, oh no, heel Rhea. Who could have foresaw this happening? I hope this doesn't happen. Yes, I hope it happens. But Naomi cashing in subverted all my expectations. And this was fantastic because like, I was upset Naomi lost, but then I was like, you know what? Yeah, you got it. I'm shutting up. You got it.
It's good. The Line Drive says, I'm happy for Naomi, but I absolutely hate that Vince Russo-esque booking swerve cash in, ruining an absolute classic. Save it for after. Hate it.
Nah, you had to do it this way. Unfortunately, you had to.
I'm kind of I'm somewhere in the I don't know how I feel about it yet, because we never get cash-ins that actually surprise us. Like, that hasn't happened in maybe a decade. That just doesn't happen. And this one actually really did surprise me. It did ruin a classic, but I also I didn't want you to just flat out lose to Rhea, and I really felt like Rhea was probably going to win considering Perth is on the horizon, and Rhea losing to Io a sixth time just kind of makes her seem like a loser. It doesn't make her seem like it's her Achilles heel anymore. So I think maybe we're headed toward Naomi and Rhea program, which I think would be great. But I understand wanting a clean ending to that match, because that match was excellent. I think the triple threat to open it and this were both really good. I loved the triple threat. This was absolutely my match of the night. Some more chats coming in from you guys. Thank you so much for the love. But No Poets Allowed saying, PLE of the year, every match was a banger. Only bummer was the constant creepy sexualization from Wade. What's weird is that's not normally like his thing. And a lot of people are saying this in the chat. Like, that was a very, very odd thing to be ratcheting up on this particular PLE. Was very odd. I have a couple of nip tuck complaints that I didn't like the Blake Monroe title shot. Like, she hit Jordynne Grace in the butt and that cost her. That was a little weird.
It was the lower back.
Like already coming off the ropes, though. She didn't hit her hard enough that I believed it did anything. So I have some hesitations with that, but those are minor things in what was overall a successful night. Meet Norma saying, while I can't stand WWE, I support women's wrestling in a less creepy way than commentary. Jeez Louise, it felt like TV with all the ads. Now,
bro,
it's exhausting. It's exhausting, and it does taint the product. For me, it really does ruin the viewing experience quite a bit, because of course you expect some ads, but the way it overpowers things is a little bit overkill.
Is it just me? But if I feel like I'm paying for a pay-per-view, there really shouldn't be ads beyond promoting your next event. That's just how I feel. You're putting full-on ads in the pay-per-views. It's personally why I didn't watch Saturday night's main event last night, besides all in taking 9,000 hours to complete. But it's like, I'm not going to watch 30 minutes of wrestling and an hour and a half of commercials, especially if I have to pay for it. I'm not paying for commercials. What? You're kicking it back on me. You paid for those ads, not me, pal.
It's that there's so many of them. If there were 2 or 3 between matches, that would be fine. But they've gotten so full tilt in the other direction. It is exhaustive. Tim McFowell saying, ladies' night. This is the first time I've watched WWE since Punk broke Kate's heart. I really liked the show, minus the announcers. Opener and closer were matches of the night. And so happy for Steph and Naomi. Very happy for Steph Ecker too. I'm feel like she was the right call to win this. To me, it was going to be her or Nikki Bella, and I think from an in-ring perspective, that's a good shout. That's a really, really good shout. Orion Bed saying 7.5 out of 10 would have been 8.5 with Big E on commentary. Let's get a woman on commentary. Like, Big E is welcome on
Big
any
E
product.
adds 10 out of 10 to any
time.
commentary.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's fair.
I'm for that, but like, it's kind of inexcusable when you're running an all women's PLA to not have any women's voices. I do know Lillian Garcia had like an upper respiratory thing, I think, that kept her from being here tonight. I thought everybody else that was women's, like in supportive roles and on ring announcing, obviously, and all the referees did their jobs really well. But
I'll
like,
give them the flowers in that regard, because I remember the first Evolution, people like, where are your women's refs? And tonight we had nothing but women's refs. So I'll give, and it wasn't just one or two people, it was a bunch of girls. So I give them that respect. I'm hoping in the next PLE we'll have a female commentary, and I think this does expose a gap in WWE and just wrestling greater in total, the lack of femme voices, the lack of female presenting voices on your comm, when you do have people that can do it. And I mean, not for nothing, you have a whole NXT right there. You have a whole, and why not? Why not? Like you said, Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix was great on commentary.
She's
You have
amazing.
girls that you could, I don't know. You have a step up program. Train some commentators. So it's not the same 3 or 5 guys on commentary for everything.
Well, and to have 0, I think, like, there's no reason you couldn't have had some nostalgia pops, some legends come in for that. Like, why wasn't everybody wants AJ Lee back in the ring, but her on commentary? Like, she was doing all that work with WoW and stuff. Like, I think there's a lot of possibilities there. Molly Holly was ringside and works backstage. People are pointing out Kelly Kincaid, but I don't even just mean like women that are in backstage roles doing stuff, though that would be cool too. But I'm like, there was not a lot of nostalgia on this card, and that would have been such an easy incorporation into it. So, and yeah, like if you're gonna have Steph all over this, being like, "Here's my thoughts" all the time,
just
like
have
just
her
put her
on
on
commentary. Yeah,
very weird call. Well, I did want to talk about some things because this is an overwhelmingly positive event. I kind of want to get my overarching gripes and some other comments out of the way. And before we do any of that, there's a few things in like celebrating women in wrestling that I wanted to call out. And I wanted to talk about other women in wrestling media in general. And I was thinking about this a couple days ago on the ROH review of like, there are certain things that made me so happy this weekend and in general. And one thing that I realized was like how many times I think of other female creators when I see certain things in wrestling. Like if I see Shibata pop off, I immediately think of Lyric. If I see Despy pop off in New Japan, I immediately think of Charlie from Wrestle Purists, and vice versa. Like Sean has been talking about Suri Kondo ad nauseum on post show, saying that like she's his favorite performer in wrestling, and he was so excited. Like now we get to see her on American TV, and I just love. There's still such a need for women's voices in wrestling, and we need more women's creators. This is a 90% male demographic field, and I'm so proud though, because there's a generation of women a lot younger than me that are coming up and they're using their voices in so many different ways. Like Wheezy is doing watch along content for WWE and she's the best at it. And Lyric, I mentioned, is doing like covering Japan so much and also international stuff like in Mexico. And Charlie at Wrestle Purists is covering AEW and all, like there's so many women that have found specific niches that are killing it, and in a lot of cases the best at that specific thing. And the unbridled passion and the relentless commitment that these women are putting forward, because quite frankly in a lot of cases we do have to work twice as hard as men to get anywhere, is something that I'm so proud of. And especially knowing a lot of these women are 10 years younger than me or whatever, like them just taking the reins from this older crop, I think is so special. And I also want to say, like, I'm so proud that here at Fightful, I'm here with Cresta. It wasn't like pulling teeth, like, we need a woman for a post show. We have Iridian here. Denise Salcedo kicked open the door for a lot of people.
Damn.
We have almost a 50-50 split on men and women. And the reason that balance got upset is because I brought in Alex Cardoza on Fridays. It's my fault that it's not exactly 50-50. And I'm just really thankful that that's like a priority here at Fightful, and it's a priority on like a pretty nuanced way. Like I really feel like, I mean, Sean has flat out protected us in specific ways. Phone calls to people who are coming at us, giving a crap about things like both of us got flowers when our pets died. Like nuanced ways of showing that he cares about everybody on his staff and women just the same. And I also look at things like when I first started here, I was asked, like, do you feel comfortable with Blue Chew and Manscaped ads, or does that make you feel uncomfortable as a woman in this space? Which I felt really good about. I know when the sex trafficking scandal broke, everything with Vince McMahon, Jeremy sent me the article he was about to publish just to make sure he was doing right by a women's perspective. And he, of course, was. There was like a hotline number in there and all these resources, and it was presented in a neutral but serious tone. So like, I also want to say here at Fightful, like, I appreciate the way that women are treated, but like the men that we work with are also really great men in that regard. And there have been times I've cried to Alex Pulaski and he's made me happy. There's been times where like Joel's in the chat right now saying that I've ruined equality, but like I can lean on Joel. I can lean on men in this space and not feel weird about it. And quite frankly, I did 5 of 6 post shows this weekend, which I think makes me Kate Hogan, according to the way the internet treats
Come
women.
on now.
So I want you guys to know, supporting Fightful, like my experience as a woman here has been one that I know a lot of other women aren't in the same safety net that I am. And I hope that a rising tide can raise all ships in that sense. Like, I really think that people have said, like, are you a Fightful shill? And I'm like, well, I get paid here. So yeah, but like, I'm vocal about it because I'm hoping by celebrating the people that are doing things right, maybe other people will follow suit. So I just wanted to go out of my way to say all of that. Cresta, how do you feel about like the temperature of women's wrestling in general, and anything else you wanted to see about being a woman creator in the space?
Wrestling sucks. I'm kidding.
Women's wrestling sucks.
Women's wrestling sucks. No.
Go back to 2 to 3 minute matches.
If I'm gonna be honest, I will piggyback on Kate. And if we're glazing, then call me Krispy Kreme, because I get paid on time. And like, no, truly, like, jokes aside, the men who work at Fightful, Joel, I joke and say he's my fairy wrestling godfather, but he is. Anything I don't know, he doesn't make me feel stupid about it, which a lot of people like, you didn't know what Hulk Hogan's foot size was back in 88? Nah, man. He'll give
Name
me
your top 5 Hulk Hogan albums.
Very that though. I won't lie, like, being a girl in this space, I have been told that people only listen to me because I'm a woman, and people don't listen to me because I'm a woman. So I don't know anything. It's a weird and surreal experience, but I'll give Fightful their flowers in this moment, because they make sure that nothing, like, literally, if people are being jerks to me, it is very rare. We're gonna talk some real shit right quick. It's very rare that people are racist to me in chat. I've seen it once or twice, but the mods be like, knock that off. So give them their flowers, and they pay me on time. If we're talking about women's wrestling this weekend, I don't know what happened on Great American Bash or Saturday night's main event. So I will leave those out of the conversation, but I can speak for All In and Evolution. Tonight, the women, just the women, respectfully to the men, just the women really, 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 really did that. And Steph DeLander tweeted, I don't ever want to hear no man ever say that women's wrestling ain't a draw. Because even if you had dog expectations for Evolution, they blew it out the water. So many people, especially Lash Legend, let me give her flowers, because she showed out tonight. And it is hard to do that. And I feel in a room where Stephanie Valkyria is very clearly going to win that match, you showed out in a way where I was like, okay, wait a minute, is Lash going to win this? Hold on. This was such a good match. This was everything about women's wrestling this weekend. Mercedes, Tony, like, everything about women's wrestling was so good this weekend. And I have to say that I can't speak for anyone else. I'm excited for women's wrestling coming forward. Slammiversary is next weekend, bro. So I'm super excited for that. And other promotions make wrestling better. Because if I'm TNA, I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, we got to step it up. If I'm AEW and I see that, I got to step it up. And vice versa. If I saw All In and I'm WWE, I know for Evolution, I'm eating my Wheaties. I'm doing an extra push-up. You know what I mean? So I'm excited going forward, because if this is what we're bringing to the table from now on, yes, sir, can I have another? You're going to chest slap me? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Can I have another? You want to make my chest look like raw meat? Yes, ma'am. Can I have another? I'm here for it.
Norma said, preach vegan Hogan, which popped me tremendously. My God. Shout out to Luis, who is the best moderator in the game, and why I feel safe getting to do this. Now, I did say I wanted to knock the negativity out of the way first. I'll just say this much about it, because this card was fantastic. If this was your PLE of the year, I wouldn't argue with you. When you make a choice to showcase a specific set of people, in this case, women, and you say, this is going to be a spotlight on them, and then you just don't give a crap about that show going into it. When you do things like have Io Sky pick someone that she beat 5 times already as her opponent. And when you have on SmackDown a qualifying match going into your tag match, on Raw 2 people just deciding they wanted to tag again and talking to Adam Pearce about it, and on NXT people who lost a tag match suddenly being thrown into it. You're saying you don't care about the show because there's absolutely no creative effort being put into it. That is pure laziness. And so to me, the only logical conclusion and message that I could take from that is you don't care about the segment of people that you just said you were going to spotlight because you said we're putting a spotlight on you, but we don't care enough to put creative effort into it. Now, Saturday night's main event didn't have a creative effort either. I'm not going to pretend that did. Great American Bash was a very medium PLE with one outstanding match between Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. But those weren't men's showcases, right? This is a women's showcase. If there was a men's showcase, this would have had 6 months build. Every title would have felt like it was the biggest deal in the world. So to me, that also says, as we're talking about women's representation specifically, we need more women in writers' rooms. I think they fired the last one that they had last I knew. We need more women in production spots. We need more women in general because Lee Fitting does an incredible job. I haven't heard of any sexual harassment complaints. He was dismissed from ESPN because of sexual harassment, and they brought him in because of cool drone shots. Like, I'm sorry, you need to do better with women that are at higher positions other than Stephanie McMahon, women's wrestling mascots. That's the only negativity thing that I will say because the rest of the show was awesome. But you can't say we're spotlighting a group of people and then not care about it and not expect me to draw the conclusion that you then don't care about women's wrestling in that way. That's the only thing I'll say. The women completely overperformed on this thing. This had a horrendous build going into it. They pulled some stuff out of it. The actual wrestling was actually incredible on it. Do you have any thoughts on the build or you're a Cresta? You're like, I sat down, I watched women's wrestling. I was a happy camper.
Honestly, I'm such a Care Bear, but listen, while Kate's the good cop, I'm still a cop that'll pistol whip you because she's not wrong. Like, you can't say that this is a build. Like, you can't say that you care about it and then do like, here, damn. The women said, it doesn't matter if you give me here, damn. You can give me stones. I'm going to give you stone soup. And that's literally what we got. So I cannot be mad at there being no build because they don't control that. You know what I mean? My only complaint was that there was no femme commentary at all. That was my only complaint. I think that given the cards that they were dealt, they made the best they could. And my other complaint is no Zelina Vega win. You'll pay for your crimes, Hunter. I'll get you. I'll get you.
You go hard. You go hard for Zelina. Let's keep rocking through some of these chats. Oh, we got one that says Stephanie is the feminist icon and invented women's wrestling. Kudos to Jackie on the pre-show. She is awesome and used to work with Renee in Canada. Okay, so whatever's going on in Canada, your women's commentary for wrestling is next level. Great wrestling tonight. Yeah, she gave kind of a preamble to the show and talked about how far women's wrestling has come, and it was quite good. There is sometimes in these video packages and certain things like that, they today just pretended that give divas a chance just wasn't a thing, right? Like that the women's evolution and the calling up of the 4 horsewomen and all that was just these NXT stars were ready to come up.
It was the plan all along. What do you mean? But I won't lie. I wish they did include that in the video package. And I think WWE, they do video packages really well. But if you really want to show goodwill and that you're listening, give divas a chance. Absolutely should have been a part of this because that's how we got Evolution 1. That was the eventual climax or penultimate was Evolution, was give divas a chance. And I don't think that it's okay to not shy away from where you were. Do I think bra and panty matches were the greatest thing? No. Do I think mud matches were? No. But it's part of the history, for better or for worse. To see how far we've come from that to girls literally trying to kill each other, jumping off of boxes. Don't be a coward. You had Mae Young in there. Come on.
Touche. Pieces pointing out that Tokyo Joshi Pro had their biggest show ever, a 2,540-person sellout in Dallas. Women's wrestling is on fire. It really is. I feel like, especially from a talent perspective, we have more stylistic diversity and I'll let you speak to representation. But like I feel like we see so much more. And I feel like in general right now, and that includes women's wrestling, like there are Jessica Troy in Australia is up next. Delta Brady, who came over here into Zaria, is incredible. The UK women's scene, everybody's talking about Alex Windsor and stuff. Like there is so much more of a global focus. Like the doors opening with Joshi Wrestling. It's incredible how global wrestling feels right now. Just not just because American TV is traveling to these places, but because these scenes are starting to step up. And I think that's really, really cool. Some love that says Cresta, you rule. Salute to Vegan Hogan. Well, thank you so much. I actually think Cresta rules, but still, that doesn't work for me, brother. You're not putting Cresta over in my territory, all right?
I live. Bury me.
More money for women's voices. Support women always. Well, thank you so much. It's I love that I have women that are peers that like there's a lot of times now where I go into a press room and Cresta, you've been at a couple with me where you look around and you're like, but there's a lot of women in here. That's a refreshing feeling. There's still a long ways to go. I'm not going to pretend that, but tonight is a celebratory night for sure.
Yeah.
Timmy's saying Evolution was awesome. The greatest women's match of all time last night. Wasn't even the best of the weekend, in your opinion. Thank you all for the great job you do. It's so hard to even compare them because like Rhea and Io was something so different than Mercedes and Tony was so different than the triple threat at the beginning. But let's finally start to dive into this card. We started with our triple threat match and it was fantastic. I kind of figured Becky was going to retain, but they did a good job of structuring this match to make you think like at some point it felt like everybody could have a chance to take it. I thought they did a good job of that. Bayley came in hot. She bulldozes Lyra in the beginning of this a lot, and I feel like maybe that's your program coming out of this. Becky went nuts with the dual roll-ups and things escalated really, really quickly in this. Lyra got face planted into the announce table. We get double dives. There's a Tree of Woe sunset bomb. Lyra is going nuts with a bunch of this, but Becky dodges a Bayley pin, and we eventually lead to her winning with a backslide for this. This was 16 minutes long. It was super, super fun. I kind of expected it because Bayley and Becky are so great and so familiar with each other. And Lyra, when I do have criticisms from her, it ain't the in-ring. She's got some things she could fix on maybe the promo front. She is connecting with the crowd more than she ever has, but I don't have complaints with her in-ring. And I thought this triple threat was a really fun way to start things off. How'd you feel about our opening match?
I want to start off and say before even the match, every lady, tonight was prom. Everybody's gear looked so good. Literally for every match, I was like, wow, their gear looks great. Lyra's wings, I kind of lived for them. I thought they were fantastic. Lyra starting off with Becky with this weird pendulum stretch thing. I don't know what she was doing, but I was into it. Also, the story of Becky and Bayley treating Lyra like, yo, get out of here. Who is this kid? Why are you in this match? And if I'm Lyra in this moment, I feel like, bro, what do you mean if it wasn't for me, you guys wouldn't even be in this match. What are you talking about? What is happening here? There was a crossbody on Bayley from Lyra. She tries to get the DDT on Becky, but Becky reversed it into the steel steps. This whole match was fantastic. The finish. Bayley hits Lyra with this fantastic rose plant on Lyra just for Becky to come in and say, alley-oop. If I'm Bayley, I think I might try to take out Becky's knees backstage because what was that, pal? What was that? And it was so smooth. I didn't know Becky had that in her arsenal at all. I cannot wait to see what happens with Lyra. I do think, like you said, the program is for Lyra and Bayley. Becky will be more like a satellite, but I think there's maybe one more program with all three of them, and then everyone needs to go their separate ways. Becky Lynch, they'll never make me hate you. And I hate that the ramp was small. But I like how I don't know if this was on purpose or maybe I'm making this up. She paused in front of that Becky Hogan sign, like, okay, I'm not.
Oh, for sure.
But okay, pal. Everyone keeps comparing. Man, did you guys know on Fightful on YouTube, we have a video about the difference in creative control and creative input?
Since this is a women's focus show, there's a lot of really corny shit on the internet, right? There's undeniably. But I think at the top of the corniest is this throwing Hogan on the end of women's last name nonsense for anybody who's getting a push. Rhea Hogan, Becky Hogan, Mercedes Hogan. But if it's Roman Reigns and he shows up 4 times a year with 2 titles that were unified, oh, he's a megastar.
Doing the same thing.
They say it with the Kenny Belt Collector run. They didn't say it with the FTR Collector run. It's pure sexism, and you are a bunch of corny nerds who are, by the way, the least creative group of people on the internet. They all just say the same stuff. It is ridiculous. But Parker Hines saying, shout out to Monet for booking a hell of a show. That was we talked about that a lot on the post show last night. Like, man, Mercedes has creative control and she booked a hell of an all in. Honestly, I thought she did a great job because Jon Moxley was going to retain until Mercedes stepped in. I think that
Mercedes stepped in and saved us, guys.
Yeah, it's true. So you want to hate her now? Because she booked that whole show and I thought it was great.
I mean, according to that means tonight this was also Mercedes and Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
since she booked this.
Yeah, Becky Lynch booked a really fun show tonight. So she definitely paused in front of that Becky Hogan sign. I had someone on it might have been me, Normus, actually, who said like somebody online was in my replies and was like, every corny sign was being held by a guy today. Like every just stupid corny. And of course, you weren't the only one who noticed the small ramp, by the way. No Poets Allowed saying, is it just me or I was weirded out by the narrow entrance path to the ring? Everyone in reach of the creepy touch of men in the crowd. Ew. I feel like, yes, it was weird and noticeably way too small.
The ring was definitely like, you know, when you get on the plane and it's that little ramp right before you go on the plane. That's
I agree with you on that. It was definitely weird looking. And I think at a time it was like the weird sexualization on commentary and then that aspect, I think at a time where we're all hyper aware of like, don't go to the airport, weirdos. Like we are aware of women's security and this is a women's show. Some of that did feel weird, but yeah, you were definitely not alone and noticing that. B. Norma says, I've had more wings this weekend than women in the gauntlet at the Evolution Battle Royal. Salad for lunch tomorrow. Hire Veda Scott, TK. Somebody hire that woman. She's honestly long overdue.
Veda Scott uses they, them pronouns, just real quick.
Oh, I thought it was they, she. My bad.
I thought it was they, them. That must all be wrong.
How about absolutely rules? We'll just say that. Veda rules. Hire Veda. Rock and roll. We got a chat here that says there was never a doubt Evolution was going to be a fun show, especially with the lack of build. That meant they just go out there and wrestle. So I do want to say, like, the builds in the men's program have been terrible in WWE recently. Like, this is not female specific. This was just a female specific show. So it sends a different message when you don't care about it. But like, Solo Sikoa just won the US title. He's getting pinned on SmackDown. Drew McIntyre's palling around with Logan Paul and about to face Jelly Roll. Like, I'm not thrilled with the men's side of the product either.
That was the sentence you just said. Wait, what? Drew McIntyre is palling around with Jelly Roll about to face Logan Paul. Only way this could get more weird is if you said an I Show Speed is tagging with Ninja. Like, what are we doing?
Well, it's Drew and Logan are on the same side facing Jelly Roll, but like, there you go. Louise said Veda goes by they, and they, them, and she, her. So
everybody trying to protect everybody. I love that.
Aware. I love that. I love that so much. The point being, Veda is incredible and should be doing commentary somewhere, man. What are we doing?
Honestly, pay her, them. Yes, pay money, lots of it.
Give Veda the bag campaign starts here.
Kate, I just saw this one and I have to.
Beyonce should have cashed into that. I was going to save this for the main event. But I thought after Naomi cashed in, Beyonce was going to come over again.
That almost, I'm trying to keep it together. Because can you imagine if Beyonce's, first of all, WWE, I know you got the money. But second of all, that'd be too funny. You want a headline.
There you go. She comes over and is like, this ain't Texas. I'm no holdup. And she just cashes.
Wait, this ain't Texas. This is Atlanta.
This is Atlanta. That's right.
I'm sweating because I'm laughing too much, Kate.
Well, you know what? We'll take a little ad break then, Cresta, because you had mentioned before there was a lot of wrestling on this weekend, and some of it you had to pay for, you also mentioned. And sometimes if you want to pay for stuff, it's cheaper to do so internationally. And sometimes the best way to go international isn't to go international at all. It's to have your electronics go international with our friends at NordVPN.
If you're a wrestling fan and you're looking to save money, NordVPN.com/Fightful is here to help. I've completely cut the cord on cable because I've got NordVPN.com/Fightful. Over 2 years of NordVPN.com/Fightful costs less than 1 month of cable TV. Not only that, if you're a WWE fan, all you need is a Netflix subscription and NordVPN.com/Fightful. You get all their shows. It's not just that, though. You can get pay-per-views at the rate that they are paying overseas as opposed to the incredible rates that we pay here in the States, thanks to NordVPN.com/Fightful. You might say, Sean, how's that possible? With NordVPN, you change your virtual location with just one click and you appear virtually wherever you want to be. But it's not just that. They've got threat protection, they've got 24/7 customer support, and a 30-day money-back guarantee in case you don't like it, but you're going to. Go check out all the features over at NordVPN.com/Fightful.
Sean, get out of here. This is a women's show.
All these men in the camera tonight.
I know. You know what? Maybe later he can come back and talk about my bookie, but that's it. That's it. Okay. You guys have been awesome with the chats today. Please keep those coming as we work through this PLE of WWE Evolution All Women Showcase. Some good stuff. Some good stuff to kick us off. And we move right into our NXT Women's Championship match. Jacy Jayne, who has Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix, versus Jordynne Grace, who has Blake Monroe in her corner. They had a match on Great American Bash yesterday where they were able to coexist. Kind of told you the handwriting was going to be on the wall here. Jacy Jayne up to her usual tricks in this match. She's trying to work around the fact that Jordynne Grace is a goddess of a woman and a powerlifting queen. You have Jordynne Grace dominating early with a lot of power, but Jacy Jayne just kind of getting some sneaky strikes in, hitting that twisting net breaker. She's very good at the match psychology aspect of working around the overwhelming power of Jordynne Grace in this. We get your first ref distraction of the night, and we have Blake Monroe hitting Jordynne Grace in the lower back with the belt / kind of in the butt. And then because of that, I'm supposed to believe that Jordynne Grace ran into this discus punch from Jacy Jayne. This is Shawn Michaels' playbook. Like this is straight out of that textbook. The problem with me in this for me was it didn't execute well. Like Blake Monroe's shot did not look like it was forceful enough to send Jordynne Grace into the punch from Jacy Jayne. And Jordynne Grace was headed toward the ropes anyway. So her momentum was going to be flinging back toward Jacy Jayne. That was the plan to start. So I don't understand if you're going to do a title shot thing, which is like one of 3 things that they do on WWE programming. That's been John Cena's entire title reign, has been these title shots. It feels like understandable in theory, poor in execution. I really, really liked the rest of the match. I do feel like you're making faces at me. Can you hear me?
Oh, no. I can hear you.
Okay.
I'm just looking at my camera. I'm checking, refreshing Humper chats and my camera in the YouTube. I look like scrambled eggs, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
No, you look fine. I also have our wonderful moderator, Luis, who is a boy around these parts that we are allowed to have here. He's taking care of Humper chats if you need to close that down. But I wanted to make sure I wasn't scrambled because my internet sucks. So
No, it's
I
not
was making
you.
sure on that.
It's Cresta Star hacking into the mainframe, looking at a million things at once.
So, my thing with Blake Monroe is like they set this up like she had been a babyface. And if you watch NXT, it's been very disjointed. When she showed up, she was in their weird Raven's Nest setup and she overlooked the whole division and she arrived as the Glamour, which has the arrogance that we know and love from Blake Monroe, right? But then she was Sabrina Carpenter. Like she was. They did all of the vignettes that they did for her was Sabrina Carpenter almost shot by shot inspired. In the ring, she hit someone and said, "Have you ever tried this one beforehand?" Like, so there's been a disconnect in that, but it's not like she's felt like such a baby face and all of the sudden she turned on Jordynne Grace. It kind of feels like she was non-committal and chose to turn on Jordynne Grace because she's looking at that title for herself. And I think she probably does beat Jacy Jayne for it in the long run. I just wish the storytelling had been a little bit stronger with that. And we had like this weird, I talked about this at length on Tuesday, so I don't want to harp on it, but they did this, every couple months they do this odd couple pairing thing on NXT where it's like she's strong and I'm girly, or there was one with Zoe Stark and Io Sky years ago. They did this with Thea Hale and Jacy Jayne. They did this with Ruca. And A, that's just not how women act, so that's annoying. But B, like it, Jordynne Grace has talked a lot about body dysmorphia and she hinted at it on NXT television. And this implication that you can't be girly and muscular is annoying. So I just haven't liked what we had leading into this. I like watching Jordynne Grace wrestle. I like watching Jacy Jayne wrestle. I'm looking forward to Jacy Jayne versus Masha Slamovich, which I'll throw over to you to talk about more. But the build hasn't been great because it hasn't established whether Blake Monroe was a face or a heel. And it hasn't, there was nothing creative about what they did. They just run the same play they always play. So I haven't loved that aspect of it. The match we got tonight was perfectly fine. The execution of the ending wasn't the best, but overall, like it was really fun to watch because Jordynne Grace is a beast and Jacy Jayne was in her element doing what she does best as champion. What did you think of what we got out of all this? I know you're not as ingrained on the NXT side as maybe I am.
No, that's fine. I may be new to NXT, but I'm not new to stunts or this Blake Mariah, April, May, June Monroe. Okay. Nice try. All right. Everything that I have seen. First of all, I did see the segment where they're like, let's go do our nails and you'll be girly. Girls can like other things besides makeup and jewelry. You know what I mean? It is insulting. That being said, man, when y'all reheat up AEW's old nachos, y'all really reheat up AEW's old nachos. Because it was very much, instead of saying that, oh, you've been my favorite, because of course she has it, it's like, we're best friends. No, you're not. You just got here. That being said, I'm okay with how this outcome turned out. It was telegraphed. Blake Monroe is no one's friend, and unfortunately, she has that charisma like Charlotte Flair. You, my friend, I'd rather trust gas station sushi. Get that out of here.
Woo! So, those are strong words.
Bro, you gonna trust Blake Monroe or Charlotte Flair to be your friend and make sure that they got you, or do you think they're gonna walk out on you in the middle of a match? I digress.
There you go.
So this match needed to be what it was, because coming up next weekend, we do have Jacy Jayne versus Masha Slamovich in a winner take all for the NXT women's title or the TNA women's title. Personally speaking, and this is just me wishful thinking, I do believe in wrestling quid pro quo. I know you're not supposed to, but like they have the men's TNA championship. It's okay for a woman to have the women's NXT championship over on TNA. I think Jacy would be fine, but Masha Slamovich is a savage, and I would give her my title if she looked at me too strongly because I'm afraid of her. Yeah. And I don't think they want to do Jordynne versus Masha. I would love to see Jordynne versus Masha for the 80th time. I would get jiggy with that. But I don't think they want to do that. I don't think they want to do that. So.
Yeah, I think they went to that well and it was awesome and they stayed there for a while and it's time to move on from there. But I do have some scoops for y'all
I love scoops.
To tell you about that we're on Fightful Select. The producers for Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus, Jacy Jayne versus Jordynne Grace, and Naomi versus Jade Cargill, all on Fightful Select for you. There were a number of staff and talent backstage cheering for Naomi when she won the title. That one will just tell you for free right now because that was such an incredible moment. And I think there's people that feel like Naomi Trinity, the woman, has beyond earned something like this. And she's been so great at the character she's playing. Some names that were backstage. We'll tell you this one because this was a free post as well. Seth Rollins is in a knee brace and crutches, unfortunately, backstage. So that knee injury sustained at Saturday night's main event seems like it's going to be longer term. Unfortunately, we wish him a full recovery to the highest degree that someone can heal.
Can I interject right here real quickly?
Of course you can.
Want to say picking up an injury this weekend was also Queen of the Ring. So her and Seth Rollins are also twinning them because she did get an ankle injury. I don't know how she did it, but word has it that they're still looking for the coyote that she beat up. So speedy recovery.
You should see the other guy. That's what I'm going to say about our friend Queen of the Ring, Alex, who took if Bryan Danielson fought Bears, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know who Alex took this out on, but seemed like Malcolm and Sean were helping her out. She was crutching around this weekend a little bit, but we wish her the best in her healing as well. Some other notes, just that the creative of this was heavily influenced by some recent injuries. I think it's safe to assume Liv Morgan was obviously one of them. There is a belief that this was a success and that this probably won't be the last Evolution, but they're not putting another timetable on when the next one could be. And a couple of other notes. There was another women's wrestler that was backstage that you can head over to FightfulSelect.com and check out. There were scoops like crazy back there. Scoops like crazy. There was a WWE diva that was backstage. Trying to see if there's any other notes to tell you all about, but I think that's good. I think that's satiating enough that you should head over to FightfulSelect.com. Some more chats from you guys. Thank you so much for the support today. The contrast between Mariah May, Blake Monroe's heel turn in AEW and heel turn here were pretty stark. This was to the day. Her turn on Toni Storm was this time last year. I fully believe she should be a heel. I feel like the character begs for it. I just didn't think the execution was great on this one, unfortunately.
I will say WWE does have a hard time writing women's heels that are not in a way that's very stereotypical. That's just my gripe. Some people have it, like Charlotte Flair, she just exudes it, but I think that's Charlotte Flair. But if you are given I think Tiffany Stratton is a good example of that because when she was heel, it was kind of like, girl, what is this?
Yeah,
what is this? Nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that.
I think, on Tuesday, specifically on like the NXT call up, Alex Pulaski and I would joke like, oh, here comes the black lipstick, because it was like good girl gone bad every single time. And
I'm evil.
I would say, yeah, you're either nuts or you're a bad girl. But I feel like heel turns across the company have been an issue. Like the New Day one was an incredible moment. Bad execution. John Cena, incredible moment, bad execution. They've got to figure out what they're doing on the heel turn side in general. But you're right. I think there's a lack of dimension on women's heels in WWE for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep moving to this women's tag match, which was a lot of fun. I really like Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss as a duo. Sol Ruca is incredible. We know what the Kabuki Warriors can do. But the Judgment Day emerging victorious on this, I laid out how bad the build was going into it. I feel for them. This was obviously stilted by the Liv Morgan situation. But I like that they said the tag titles are yours if you win them with Roxanne in them. Like I appreciated that a lot. We had some tandem suplexes in this. We had hot tag Charlotte returning. I thought this was one of her better performances since she came back. It was fun to see her as a hot tag in this. You have Sol Ruca nearly stealing this one with the Soul Snatcher. If you don't watch NXT, Sol Ruca is one to keep your eye on. She's excellent. And the odd couple pairing with her and Zaria is something that's working. Zaria is incredible. Like if you like the Rhea Ripleys of the world and you think she's a powerhouse, go to YouTube, look up Zaria Spear or Delta Brady Spear and look up Zaria F5, Delta Brady F5, because good Lord. But Raquel Rodriguez playing cleanup in this one, hitting the Tejana Bomb for the win. So you want to talk about tired playbooks. This is just exactly what they did with Liv and Rhea. Liv is going to come back and feud with Roxanne when she's healed up. We wish her the best and her healing as well. I don't mind it, though. I really like the combination of Roxanne and Raquel. And quite frankly, Roxanne has taken more losses than any other woman on the main roster. They need to give her something to do that involves some modicum of success, because when she showed up as the prodigy, she literally is a prodigy. I don't think she can legally drink yet. I think she might just turn 21. And she is an unbelievable wrestler. Wrestler. So I'm glad that she has a title on her shoulder. I hope beyond hope that they actually start to care about this women's tag team division, because when they put the titles on Jade and Bianca, I was like, well, they're not going to not care with those two at the helm. They're two of the biggest stars in the company. You're going to face the spooky Scottish Wishes because they're from Scotland, was how they dropped their titles the first time after no time on TV at all. So it feels like they're rebuilding them, right? Like we got the Kabuki Warriors back together, things like that. Alexa and Charlotte being a tag team feels like we're starting to care. But Cresta, I've been hurt too many times before. I can't put my heart out like this. They break it too much with these women's tag titles, Cresta. It hurts. It hurts too bad. I won't be optimistic.
Let me tell you something. Looking at this, you had one tag team that hadn't tagged since 2024, the Kabuki Warriors, Sol Ruca, which I didn't even do the the Zaria Ruca thing with her and Zaria, the allies of convenience, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who are single stars, and the one tag team Judgment Day. You're not serious about this. You've never been serious about this. You weren't serious about it when you had the Riot Squad. You weren't serious about it when you had the Iconics. You weren't serious about it when Naomi and Mercedes Moné were champions. You weren't serious about it when Bianca and Jade were champions. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. There are tag teams here, and you could do more than just Franken teams. Let go of the bar. The bar is never going to happen again. Let it go. But if you are going to do the bar, I think you said it, Kate, at least have them go back and forth, a best out of 7. And afterwards, like, yo, what are we fighting for? If you're going to commit to it, commit to it.
Stories.
But even then, I know the bar was a fluke. They had a best of 7 because he had nothing to do with them. And the guys were like, we like these guys. So either commit or pack it up. I think Roxanne Perez is fantastic. But if Roxanne Perez, unfortunately for everyone involved, is a single star, you can see it. That girl is shining brighter than a meteor screaming through the sky. She's so good. This match itself was everything it needed to be, but I already knew who was winning. Charlotte looked great. And speaking of Charlotte, y'all gonna need to make up y'all minds what y'all doing with her. Because she came out and y'all booed her. And then y'all was cheering for her white hot. Like, we missed you. And Charlotte, even she was like, what the is this? Y'all mind screwed her tonight. Because y'all booed her when she came out. And then the whole night, we want Charlotte. And if I'm Charlotte, I'm like, yo, what is this? This is why I'll never take you guys seriously. Y'all don't hate Charlotte. Y'all don't hate Charlotte. Y'all hate the concept of Charlotte. But when you see it like that, that's fair. That's it. She looked great tonight, by the way. This gear on
Yes.
her, that corset was bedazzled from the Ruca to the tutor, and Charlotte, you ate that. She looked so good tonight. But like, y'all need to leave Charlotte alone or make up your mind what y'all doing with her, because y'all can't boo her at the beginning of the match, then won her, and then tomorrow night you're gonna boo her again. So like, what are we doing here? Leave Charlotte alone. I can't believe I'm capping for Charlotte Flair, but like, make up your mind. Listen, at this point, I love Charlotte Flair because I'm sick of y'all being mean to her, okay?
I mean, it was as if they were like, she's a heel, we boo her. And then they were like, we read the Players Tribune article and she made a lot of very good points. And so now we cheer her. I think the creative doesn't help that because she doesn't feel super solid in what she is. It feels like they're leaning face with this team, but like her and Alexa haven't been on the same page. And Charlotte historically has been a heel. And her best moments have been when she's a heel. But this team feels like it's leaning face because it's exploring some of the vulnerabilities with Charlotte. And I feel like that's something that's an important thing for her character to evolve. And I want to see Charlotte in a tag context because we haven't really seen that too much. Like we've seen Becky in a tag team with Amy Dumas, Lita. We've seen Bianca and Jade, obviously. We've seen Rhea and Liv. We've seen Bayley and a few people, right? Like, so I would love if we got Charlotte as a hot tag regularly, because she also, I hate to bring up this example because I just want to cry about Adam Cole, but like it felt like Adam Cole was still getting his legs under him when he returned back from injury, and then like something happened with Garcia and Alexander and he started to look like the Adam Cole that we know and love. I think Charlotte, maybe coming back from injury, hasn't had like the best in-ring return because we're used to seeing her perform at an insane level.
Okay.
And I feel like her coming in as a hot tag is a very fun way to go about business, quite frankly. But we have a chat that says, do you know why Zaria's F5 goes the other direction? She's from Australia. Everything spins the other way in the Southern Hemisphere. She's incredible. Like they're gonna slow burn this thing with Sol Ruca, but like somebody that I know in Australia, I'll just say who, Todd Eastman, Beast Eastman, and Jamie Apps, who are Australian wrestling media. They put her on my radar, and I saw like a compilation video, and 10 seconds in, I was like, she's it. I don't know what to tell you guys, but like she's the next big thing. When they unleash her, like when she turns heel on Sol Ruca, it's over. It's just over for everybody.
I feel so bad because the way they presented Sol Ruca, this is her. Yeah, we're just here to wrestle, bro. We're just having a good time. Vibes, dude. Vibes. Like, why Zaria would never turn on me, bro? Because we're just like, we're sisters. We're vibing. And when Zaria touches us, like, yo, why would you do that?
That's going to set her to the next level. She's incredible. Orion Ben says, I'll let you read this one.
Cresta's rant reminded me, where are the unks? See, in WWE, because WWE do got some unks. It's just that right now, a lot of their unks, Rikishi's an unk, but right now he got control of his nephew. So.
He has creative control. It ain't Mercedes. It ain't Becky. Rikishi's got creative control.
Michael Cole could be an unk, but right now he's in his uncle era. So
True.
He is firmly in his uncle.
True.
You know what? WWE doesn't really allow for too many unks. They allow for uncles. There's not too many unks. There's not too many. Unks are all in AEW. That's where your MVPs, your Eddie Kingstons are. That's where your unks are. Over here, there's uncles. I can't even think of an uncle. Roman Reigns at this point would be an uncle. He would be an uncle.
He went from the most dominant champion in the world to an uncle. Man, that's
That's because have you ever seen two uncles who used to go at it back in the day, go into the yard and fight? Not saying that he can't. I'm just saying that he's a young man. If I have to go outside and beat you up, I will. Tell me that's not Roman Reigns.
I can't argue with that at all. Wouldn't dream of it.
Same thing. Listen, young man, if I have to go outside and show you what for, I will.
Okay. That's how it goes. Guys, get in your super chats, get in your upper chats. We're having predictably so much fun, as I figured I would, getting to do this review with Cresta. someday I'm gonna get on the same stream as Iridian, and it's gonna be magic. We never cross paths.
Iridian's
You
a
and I don't
working
cross paths
girl.
enough. I know.
Iridian's out here. Y'all think who got a million jobs? Athena got a million jobs. Mercedes got a million belts. So does Iridian.
Iridian, award-winning Iridian, by the way, Gracie Award winner, Miss Iridian. You can catch her with Cresta on the Collision post show whenever they're both available, man, because you guys are both working hard. Iridian is everywhere, man. What an incredible talent. Speaking of women's wrestling content creators that are just absolutely awesome. But let's keep working through the rest of this card. Not a ton left because they did keep this slimmer, but it did feel like we got it feels like the structure of this PLE was a lot different than what we normally get, and it was very refreshing in that regard.
Yes.
I don't know if you felt that way, but like this did not feel like the PLEs we've been getting. This felt like way more
proper pay-per-view. Like, again, with no build, considering what the women gave me, this after watching 7 hours of wrestling yesterday, I was not burnt out watching this. And that says a lot because I wasn't burnt out watching All In yesterday either. I was even at the lower parts of this card was still like a 9.8. You know what I mean? I was sports entertained.
You were sports entertained, as was I. I was sports entertained. I was even, dare I say, a fan of women's pro wrestling tonight because that main event was pro wrestling. But let's talk about Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. There was not a lot of nostalgia on this card. One of the few things I would have changed is I would have put more nostalgia pops in the Battle Royal, and I wouldn't have burned a nostalgia pop at a world title match. Those things feel out of sync, and I feel like Tiffany Stratton's title reign could use some heavy hitters of like present day talent. I will say this at least had a story with it because Tiffany and Trish had tagged together. They at least had a relationship before, and I thought the promo that happened on Friday night was actually had some fire. But that also just showed me that Tiffany Stratton is meant to be a heel because she's a baby face calling out Trish's X-rated VHS tapes. You know what I mean? Like, that is heel behavior. There's nothing about this woman that is baby face-ish at all. So I just feel like that's where her wheelhouse is. But Trish looked good in this. She looked better than some of the previous matches we saw her in. The cage match with Becky was really solid in her last run, but I felt like a lot of the stuff before that kind of honestly had left a lot to be desired. This one only going 8.5 minutes felt appropriate. I think that was a good way to go. But we have all of Tiffany's best hits with this, right? We have the Alabama Slam and the prettiest moonsault ever in here. This was as decent as I think you would expect it to go from Trish, who is not a regular performer and whose in-ring prime was a bit ago, to with Tiffany Stratton. What I am impressed with Tiffany is for someone who's so young in her career, I feel like her versatility is a pretty big strength. Like, she worked well with Trish today. I feel like she gave Jade Cargill her best match that I've ever seen, certainly in WWE, probably top 2 that I've ever seen from Jade. So I am impressed that like pretty early in her career, she's figured out like, okay, this is how my style cooperates with what this person is giving me. And I think that's a really important feature to have just as a wrestler and to especially as a champion. So this wasn't it didn't have the fire of your opener or your main event, but I didn't expect it to, and I don't think it needed to considering the rest of this card. What did you think of Trishy and Tiffy, and whose time is it? Is it Trishy time or are you satisfied?
To quote one of my friends in Discord watching Evolution with me, why is Sabrina Carpenter and Angelina Jolie fighting?
My God.
This was a good match. I think, and this is the highest compliment I can give her. Rangard, you just were fed. Get out of here, cat. I think Tiffany Stratton is going to be your next Charlotte Flair. All due utmost respect. She's got the swag. She's got the athleticism. And I think a couple more runs around the bend, Tiffany Stratton's going to be her own girl, but that's going to be one of the people like, damn, we're going to build around her, whether you like it or not, you know? I also got to give Miss Patricia Stratus her flowers tonight because she was on it. The gear was everything. I love that old women's title into the gear. Tiffany's gear looked amazing, but Trish tonight, I'm a leader girl, but tonight Trish did it. She did that. She was taking bumps like, okay, and I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. It made me want to do one of those things just like, not saying she should, but what if she, maybe her and Natalia, I don't know, what if she, it made me believe. And I think that was the whole point of tonight, making you believe about any and everyone who was willing to lace up the boots. So this was a great match. The knees from both of these girls, when Trish got her knees up, I was like, yes, get Tiffany Stratton. When Tiffany Stratton put her knees up, I was like, that's elder abuse. Stop.
That's elder abuse. Cresta.
I didn't like that. I know. Because first of all, Trish, she's in great shape. But you were a young lady when I was a child. So I know.
No, I got you.
Don't, Tiffany Stratton, stop it. Elder abuse.
I love this. Is she going to be the next Tiffany Hogan or is she going to be Charlotte? That's the question.
It depends on whose fave she beats. Well,
true. It's true.
They're gonna call her Tiffany Flair if she's winning too much, and if she's winning too much and beats your face, oh, she's Tiffany Flair Hogan.
Well, we won't know until the next contract negotiation is what it really is.
Honestly, at this point,
it's gonna be written in there is the question.
Will Becky let her stay since Becky's Becky Hogan? She has creative control. Will she even let Tiffany stay? Think about that.
It's true. It's true. There's so many things to think about with how all of these women run wrestling, yet they have the least amount of screen time of anybody. Moving on.
Think smarter. Hey, work less. Yeah. That was good. That was good, Kate.
The best part is, so a beleaguered Sean Ross Sapp joined our post show like 3 hours in yesterday. He was there in Arlington live, and he said on the post show, like, Mercedes versus Tony was planned to like 6 months ago. This newfound creative control conversation is so, like, not only is it wrong, it's so far off. Like,
it's funny at this point. You got to make fun of it. You got to make fun of it
all day. We were doing that on the post show yesterday. Like, man, do you think that when Mercedes booked this men's casino gauntlet, we were having so much fun with it yesterday on the post show?
Damn.
Let's talk some no holds barred Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Naomi came out swinging, man. She came out swinging with the briefcase, like in a literal sense. But Jade making this her match, but with all the sponsorships and commercials they had, this could have been sponsored by Home Depot. We had chains, we had toolboxes, trash cans, a video camera shot to the ribs at one point. They, I think, did a really good job of accentuating Jade's literal physical strength, and that is her biggest in-ring strength as well. There is still some ways to go on the Jade Cargill in-ring front, but the other things about her are unrepeatable, so you capitalize on those the absolute best that you can. I honestly liked this better than the WrestleMania match. But we get an X Factor onto the chair to nearly end it, but Jade goes nuclear and top rope Jaded puts Naomi through the table. This was one of the better Jade Cargill performances, and I think the stipulation worked to her favor. We're going to talk about what this means in the main event too, because Naomi cashing in on the Raw champion after losing this way makes me feel like the strategy is, well, if I go to Raw, Jade can't find me because she's on SmackDown. So we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But how did you feel about this match? You want to talk about stunning gear as well. My God, both of these women bring it every time. I love that like glass shattery kind of look that Jade has on her gear. She has a few sets of gear that look like that. And I think she always looks ridiculous. I mean, come on, look at the Greek goddess that she is. But
unreal. She's unreal, bro. Like she was
love
made
that
unreal.
set. Yeah, she like not mortal, this woman. I love this. No forks, so -3 stars.
John Moxley like watching this match.
You gotta, yeah. This wasn't Texas death. This was just hardcore. But Naomi and her bloody hands. People are saying in the chat too. What did you think of this no holds barred match that we got?
I support women's rights and women's wrongs, and this match was women's
do.
wrongs.
We know that about you.
This match was definitely women's wrongs. Now, to quote Joel Pearl, I respect that this is a plunder match to protect all the things about Jade that we already know that don't need to be said. That being said, it made her look 10 times strong with these power moves. But I got to give Naomi her flowers because, baby, Naomi was doop, 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 lost. But she was doing the most bumping, spinning, doing sonic rings, carrying the 1 to the 8th place. Naomi was all over that. And I'm going to give Jade her flowers. Jade was pump kicking, doing the power shots, doing everything. But honestly, Naomi, this match was like, beat my ass. What? You heard me, beat my ass. It looked like she had a broken nose by the end of this. This match was so good. I got to say, when Jade duffed the crap out of Naomi with the chains around her fist, I probably was like, what the hell is this? This looked like Streets of Rage. Like, all you needed was the It was great. This was cartoon BS, and that's what I needed. The gear was great. First of all, razor blades on your gear, Naomi. I would have forfeit right there because I don't want to. She's unwell. Is she okay? She's not. She's unwell. I don't. And in the hair, how am I supposed to fight this woman? She got it, bro. She got it. This was a good match. I enjoyed this match. This was everything it needed to be. And I think, in my opinion, this is the best Jade has looked. And for right now, if this is how it's got to be because I think what people want from Jade right now, she's just not there. And that's just tea. She's just not there yet. And if you want Naomi and Jade to have that, Jade has a little bit more to go. But this makes it look like, wow, Jade's really going to pump kick the crap out of Naomi. Keep her strong the way she should be. This was great. I liked it. The Jaded off the top rope through the table was ridiculous, though. You couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me to take that spot.
Insane. Insane. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I really did like this more than the Mania match, and I feel like Naomi is so great about giving everything 1,000,000% of herself.
Yes.
And that really goes a long way. That really goes a long way in this. Well,
also getting it with 4K. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just to say, taking the camera and hitting someone in 4K. Jade is a clown. It's in there. She's capable of greatness. There's going to be a time where we're not even going to remember this Jade Cargill. She's going to be giving us Mania matches with Charlotte Flair because I want to see that. I want to see that. So that camera spot popped me because, girl. And then
that
Michael Cole telling
ridiculous.
What's his name? Wade Barrett, that's your whole salary. You're not getting paid.
Some good stuff there for sure. Well, do you like money, Cresta? Specifically making it?
I love making money.
It's a great time. And I think we're 31 for 31 on lock picks. And if you subscribe to Fightful Select, you would know that. So go right. I will subscribe to Fightful Select 100 times in a row on the chalkboard. No, but we will tell you that Fightful Select does have lock picks for you. We're very, very good record with those. And we'll tell you where you can bet on wrestling. And my friends, that is at my bookie.
Oh my God, you can bet on pro wrestling? Yeah, you can at mybookie.ag. Then, when you use the code FIGHTFUL, you get a $50 bonus on your $100 deposit or a $100 bonus on a $200 deposit. If you think you know more than the casual fan, than the average fan about what's going to happen on the upcoming pro wrestling shows, head over to MyBookie. Test your metal over there. But it's not just pro wrestling, it's UFC. We've covered UFC odds for years here at Fightful, and we are getting them exclusively from MyBookie. Sports all across the world. They have live casino games, table games, slot games, all kinds of stuff at MyBookie. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you do that and use the code FIGHTFUL. Now, we only want you to bet what you can, and please bet responsibly, but use that code FIGHTFUL and get that fantastic bonus and make a little money off something that you might have a little bit of an education on here in pro wrestling.
SRS, get out of here. Okay, this is a women's show.
No more men.
This is for the girlies. But thank you for explaining the value of MyBookie, Sean Rossap. We appreciate it. Sean doing incredible work. You want to talk about, we were saying that Mercedes and Tony was a phenomenal women's match this weekend. How about Sean Rossap getting Tony Storm to break character in their interview by mentioning Freddie got fingered.
That's first of all, getting Tony Storm to crack. She's gonna make you crack before anything. Okay,
I know. We've come to the conclusion that so Sean asked her what her favorite best worst movie is, and she gave a fantastic answer and said Master in Disguise with Dana Carvey. That was the turtle movie, if you remember.
Yes.
And he said, I'm trying to get my staff, Kate and Alex, to review Freddie Got Fingered. Have you seen that film? And we were pretty sure that what happened in her brain was the amount of jokes were just going off like fireworks, and she couldn't pick one. And so she just ended up laughing so hard. Like she just ended up breaking, because what she could do with a softball like that is just unreal. Just unreal.
Anything with Tom Green, that's free, man.
My God.
My
God.
Anytime I hear talk, I just think of his theme. This is the Tom Green Show.
It's not the Green Show.
This is my favorite show. I was too young to be watching
YouTube for that. Check out that interview. That was not something I was expecting to. I wasn't expecting Tony Storm to break, and then when I saw the reason why, I was simply blown away. But let's talk some Battle Royal, baby. We got Stephanie Vecker winning this, as I think a lot of people thought it was going to be her, Nikki Bella. I feel like from a work rate perspective, having Steph be the winner is a fantastic call. But I will tell you that we had her beating Ivy Nile, Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Natalya. We're going to talk about her in a second. Maxine Dupree, Kalani Jordan, Jada Parker, Lola Vice / Legend, Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, Zelina Vega, Julia, Candice LeRae, B-Fab, Michin, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and Alba Fire. Why Julia wasn't defending on this, I don't know.
I don't know why she was in here. Respectfully. Julia should not have been in here. But you know what? I'm a Zelina Vega stan, and she pushed her out of the ring. So you did your big one.
There you go. I am getting very important word that New Japan posted Tanahashi Jam on New Japan World. So if you are a New Japan fan, you're going to want to check that out. And as a TMDK fan, my God, go check that out. But let's talk about this women's battle royal, shall we?
I mean, what's there to talk about? This was, if the last match was plunder, this was, you're going to get eliminated by this girl. You're going to get eliminated by this girl. Get eliminated. Now there's Lash Legend left in this ring.
Well, we do have Nia Jax going on a tear early in this. She throws out a bunch of people. Wasn't waiting for openings even. Like, she was just tossing people out. But Kalani Jordan having kind of her Kofi Kingston moment, I thought was a really cute nod in this. She goes over the top rope, but lands on the other eliminated wrestlers, and then perches herself up on the announce table and does the handstand walk back to the ring. Kalani Jordan, NXT standout, if you're not as familiar. She is Kalani Jordan. I'm so happy to talk about, because we saw her going feeling like a gymnast in a wrestling ring with a lot of potential to a pro wrestler this year. And seeing her put all the pieces together has been so rewarding from someone that has watched her week over week. I really, 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 really like that we have seen so much growth in her because she was always impressive. It was, can you put the pieces together to be a pro wrestler? So some NXT context for those of you who maybe don't follow that product, but we've got Steph and Julia briefly teaming up to take out Ivy Nile, who needs to be doing way more in WWE than she is. But then they turn on each other and we get some strikes. They shake hands. They swing fists. This is Joshi deliciousness between Steph and Julia coming out here. But Steph tries to land a devil's kiss on Nikki Bella, but Chelsea Green interrupts. We get a little, what I'm assuming will be the Chelsea Green viral moment of the night there. Jada Parker standing out in this and eliminating Natalya and launching Candice LeRae off the apron with authority, not Candice Michelle.
Because I was like, who is Candice Michelle? Because you keep calling out Candice Michelle, and I see a Candice LeRae. Okay. Also, so I'm getting, the cat does have creative control because I'm getting ran on right now. She's also a girl. She wants to be here for Evolution as well.
I love that. She was like, I was in the Battle Royal. Let's go. But Adelia pointing out, it's so disrespectful that Michael Cole called Candice by the wrong name twice. Twice is really rough. Everybody's got slip-ups, and he doesn't announce enough Candice LeRae matches because there aren't enough Candice LeRae matches. But doing it twice, you gotta do a little better than that, I think. The apron spots with Zelina and Julia were fantastic. Piper Niven eliminating B-Fab and then eating a surprise elimination from Steph and Nikki was a good way to have her move out of there. Lola Vice getting knocked out from a headbutt from Piper Niven before that, I thought was incredible. But your final four, Nikki Bella, Lash Legend, Nia Jax, and Steph. Nikki spearing Chelsea earlier. Kind of looked like she might take it. I think a lot of people expected Nikki to be in it close to the end, but Lash Legend, huge big boot off the apron to Nikki and sends her flying. And then you have Steph and Lash teaming up to eliminate Nia, who had hung in there for a long time. Really, really hung in there for a long time. And you had a Lash and Steph showdown, which I liked. Something that felt like a hallmark in the first one was like the showcase of the NXT talent. And I'm glad they kept that alive with this one, because like 6 of those entrants, I think, were NXT standouts. But once Nikki went out, I was like, this is Steph's to win. And I personally think that was the right call, especially now knowing that one champion at least is going to be different by the time from Clash in Paris rolls around. So a lot of different possibilities there. But Steph Becker, a fan favorite on a perfectly ascending rise. I'm so happy that she was the one that became the victor, because she feels like the right now of it all. I think Nikki would have done great in Paris. I feel like she would have killed it on press. She's the reason that building was full tonight. She worked her ass off for that.
Yes.
But I think Steph was the right call for a title match. How did you feel about what we got there?
So most of the time when I take notes, I try to write down as much as I can. But with these types of matches, you just have to write down who eliminates who, to be honest with you.
Sure.
Also, if I get disconnected, it's because my cat has decided she's gone into business for herself and wants Kate to have creative control, actually. So I apologize in advance.
It happens.
Honestly, for a hot second, they had me believing that Lash Legend was going to win. And I think that's the hallmark of a good match. When the person who's telegraphed to win, like, I'll use last night's example, like Kyle Fletcher, everyone's like, okay, unfortunately, Adam Cole's out of here. Kyle Fletcher's definitely going to win. That's what I thought here. Stephanie Valkyria is definitely going to win. But the way that they made Lash Legend stand out, if they don't push her, because I feel like this was almost similar to the same performance that Bianca gave when she first got called up to the, when she first got called up to the main roster. She's going into business for herself. I feel like it was similar to that in that Royal Rumble where you can tell Legend can go. I want to see Lash Legend with the strong girls. I want to see it. If she still needs more time, go ahead. But there's definitely a star in there. And I would love. Okay, Rengar, what do you want to say that's so important? You have anything to say? All right. She said, no comment, please. No comment, please. Like, no comment, please.
She pulled
Jesus. But nah, this was a good. I'm sorry, what?
She pulled a John Cena at the media scrum. Just up and
Bro,
left.
she just wants to. Like, yes. Oh, she's gone into business for herself.
My God, off the top rope. My
I'm
goodness.
getting harassed, bro. I'm sorry. Maybe that I don't watch
That's
wrestling.
amazing. I love it.
She won't move. I don't know what's happening here.
Incredible. Nope, I'm here for all of that. I love it.
Yo, guys,
Cat Hogan, Luis says.
Honestly, no, she's in business for herself because when I tried to put her down, she jumped in my lap.
That doesn't work for me, Cresta. That's what she said.
Evolution is a mystery. That's literally Rengar. Get out of here. Get out of here. I have to throw her out the ring, y'all.
Is unbelievable. Unfreaking
Rengar, you got 7 belts just now, Mercedes. Bully Ray, Mercedes, Rengar, Fat Cat. But she's the cat of that dude love over here.
Love it.
Kitty Lynch. Meow.
Here for it.
Pee.
Last call for super chats and humper chats as we head into our main event. By God, Cresta has a family.
Bro, y'all saw that live and in 4K. Fightful can't protect me from
it. Can't be done. My God. Let's talk about this incredible match with the surprise ending between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Hard hitting drama. My God. I feel like the WrestleMania triple threat was one of the maybe best women's triple threats I've ever seen. And the story getting into it got really muddied because Bianca was randomly getting booed in Europe, and Rhea, they couldn't decide if she was a face or a heel there for a minute. And the story seemed to be about Bianca and Rhea, and Io was an afterthought, and then they made that the story, right? But there was a moment where on a social media exclusive, Rhea kind of told this story where she had said, Io is my Achilles heel. Io has beat me 5 times, at that point 4 times. And there was this vulnerability that we saw with Rhea that we just hadn't been seeing at all. And I feel like tonight the match that they had was the story that she wanted to tell in a lot of ways. And it made me so happy that it came across so vividly, because I've said this before. I'll say it very loudly here. I might have even said it earlier in the show, but I'm going to say it with my whole chest. I think Io Sky and Mercedes Moné, as far as purely in-ring performers, are 1A and 1B best women's wrestlers in the world.
No, you ate that. You ate that. No lies. You ate that. You ate that.
Mercedes is having a historic year. Io was crowned champion, had one of the best triple threats you'll ever see, and has done jack since. Absolutely nothing since. WWE has robbed us of watching the top women's wrestler in the world, or second best, depending on which one of them I just watched, in Mercedes.
No, that part.
And I don't get to see this woman show out in the ring because Liv Morgan got injured. Like, the booking of this title reign is unfair to people that want to watch women's wrestling. Like, it's unconscionable to me that you can't find a way to get this on your show on a regular basis. And the type of champion that Io is feels like she would be a fighting champion. It doesn't feel like she would be dodging anything. And she's a face. So even her picking Rhea, well, I'm glad we saw this match because it was unbelievable. But that's a heel thing to do, to pick the person you already beat 5 times because you keep beating them. Io seems like someone that would want to challenge herself with something new. So now that that's out of the way with, this match was incredible. This match was unbelievable. This match felt like everything that I wanted to see between a proper Io Sky, Rhea Ripley one-on-one. They have chemistry the same way. Hear me out on this. Not to the same degree, not with the same extensive history, Maybe not with the same impact, but with certainly an impact. They have the same familiar chemistry that I saw out of Kenny and Okada this weekend.
I had a feeling you were going to say it.
They were okay, good. Because when they were across the ring for each other, there are some wrestlers, Mercedes and Bayley, certainly. You can just tell that when they step in the ring with each other, it's like they just put on a warm sweater. They are just comfortable. It's easy for them to go to work. Punk had said this, like, he was like, I could, with not a single word, put on a match with Rey Mysterio, and I know we would deliver. Like, there are some wrestlers that just have chemistry together, and these two are them. Like, it was unreal. We saw them kicking out of each other's finishers. I think, to me, Io Sky, and this is coming from a Zack Sabre Jr. sicko to the sickest degree. Best counter wrestlers in the world, Io Sky, huge gap, Zack Sabre Jr. And Zack Sabre Jr. makes up submissions on a regular basis. Like,
yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. is not human.
He is not. And I still say Io Sky is above him as far as counter wrestling specifically. The way Io finds ways to counter the Riptide specifically is freaking insane to me. Like, this was unreal to me. You have Io hitting that Acai moonsault on the outside and Ripley returning the favor later and launching her into the announce table and ring steps. The selling in this was impeccable. This got a women's wrestling chant as it deserved. You had Rhea working over Io's core with the body scissors and the abdominal stretch. And then you have Io firing back with those tornado DVDTs and suicide dives and the poison Rana that almost ended it. You have the razor's edge and the sit out power bomb and the Spanish fly. Like, this was unfreaking real. And then when Io had Ripley down for good after the over the moonsault, Rhea just kicks out. And this goes into yet another gear, right? We have Naomi's music hitting, cashing in the Money in the Bank contract. It actually cashes in. No, I was going to say, this is a women's only show, so I shouldn't say Money in the Bank blue balls, but I'm saying it because that's what it is.
No,
this
literally
becomes a triple threat. We have Io Sky getting hit with the split-legged moonsault, and there you go. Naomi cashes in on Io Sky. One of the few cash-ins I was genuinely surprised by. This match was insane. The crowd ate up the ending. Rhea still has not beaten Io Sky. They still have a score to settle. We do know Jade Cargill has to go away and film a movie at some point. This might be their way of stalling that eventual thing. But I think Naomi said, I can't beat Jade Cargill, so I'm going to go over to Raw because Jade Cargill is on SmackDown. And I think Jade will follow her there. But I think that's their thinking with this. I am so happy for Naomi. I am so happy for the woman behind Naomi. This character has been unbelievable. It's been low-key carrying the women's division. This main event humped, Fid says. Fid McAwesome, a sponsor of the Fightful Awards. He's done work for us in Australia. That's been fantastic. We mentioned Toni Storm before. He did some interviews with her. He's kind of our Australian reporter over there for us. I'm still sitting with it because I was genuinely surprised, and I love that I was genuinely surprised. My gut is always like, let the incredible match have a clean finish. But I'm unbelievably happy for Naomi. I love that we were genuinely caught off guard by the cash in. I think a lot of people were. I certainly was. And I'm very excited to see what's next for Naomi with this. It really warms my heart that the person behind this character, a character which has been working extremely well, has this. And I'm intrigued to see what's next because this was a surprise. I didn't even talk about Bianca Belair being the guest referee in the No Holds Barred match, by the way. Shame on me. I completely blanked on that, but obviously she's been
really
sniffing around this whole thing too, right? So
she didn't really do anything in this match, to be fair to you.
She really didn't. And the first time she was a special guest referee, she was really bad at it. And it's one of my very least favorite stipulations. I do not like the special guest referee, and they go to that well so often. I can't believe I didn't mention it though. That was low-key not great by me. But it's my 5th post show in 3 days, so that's what you're getting.
And that's what you get when Kate doesn't sleep. Whoa.
My God.
I'm gonna go
We did
ahead
have
and say
a customary main event ref bump too, because equality is real. So all the men's main events have ref bumps. The women's one had to have one too. I think it's good when we're thinking about like women being treated the same as men. That is absolutely the hallmark of every men's main event. So let's do one in the women's main event too.
Equality, baby.
That's it.
This match was good. Personal feelings aside, when's the last time? It feels like it's been forever since we've had a successful Money in the Bank cash-in. It's been forever. So to actually have one that's a genuine surprise and a genuine cash-in.
Well, hold on. There's never been a women's one that went bad yet. All of the women's ones have been successful cash-ins.
I feel like the last women's cash-in I genuinely remember was Carmella.
Well, that was the first one, right? But Tiffany was a cash-in. She had that story arc with Nia that took us till now to pay off.
Come on now, it's Nia Jax. I'm sorry. I like Nia Jax. But if I'm beefing with Nia Jax, I know I'm winning. Because I love Nia, but the Nia Jax should be the Goldberg of your division. But here we are. Here we are. That's the last one. I specifically think of how many times Baron Corbin, master of the Cheesecake Factory, would try to cash in and just like, yo, get this man up out of here. Get this. Well,
this was certainly the first surprise one that we had. So like the cash-ins themselves have been successful. Whether or not they've felt momentous to the product is a different thing there. Yeah, like I'm with you on that for sure. For sure.
I will also say a female ref bump. I ain't never seen that. WWE.
Hey!
I didn't know how it was gonna happen. I was like, how are they gonna get out of this one? Is Rhea about to get it? But Io just had it, and y'all really don't have this girl defend the title. Like Kate said, like Io Sky is one of your best 1 or 2, if it's not Mercedes, depending on the night. And I would dare to say I would love to see Rhea and Io in a New Japan ring so they can kill each other. Even a Lucha Underground ring so they can kill each other. I would love to see that. Hell, a TNA ring so they can kill each other. I would love to see what that would really look like. This match was fantastic. Now, in my heart, I thought Naomi or Jade was going to use her Queen of the Ring first, get to become champion somewhere, somehow, and then Naomi was going to cash in on her. My problem with that
I think a lot of people felt like that was the direction it was going. Yeah.
But let's talk about what happened the last time there was a Queen of the Ring. Y'all remember Queen Zelina, who did nothing because they did nothing with her? So just because you win that doesn't mean you're going to get a title shot. So if Jade is going away to film a movie, it makes sense. If I'm Naomi, I'm going to get my come-ins if I have to. If Jade goes away and comes back, I'm still Queen of the Ring, broad. I want my run back and I want to challenge you. So I don't hate it.
Said broad.
Listen, my favorite thing to do is watch wrestling and call these women broads, because these are the type of women who go out back. It's like, you want to fight me outside this function? Okay, baby, take your shoes off. We're going to fight like broads, smoke the cigarette and then fight each other. That's 1920 style. Put them up. I blame Tony Storm for that.
Well, I was going to say, watch for the shoe style. I love it. I love it.
This was a good match. This was a very memorable match. Rhea Ripley's about to go into psychosis. If I'm Io Sky, Naomi, you need to run, because when I find you, when I catch you, Naomi, when I catch you, and if I'm Naomi, I'm setting booby traps everywhere. I'm not showing up to work. This was good. I enjoyed this. This is a way to send people home happy. This is fantastic.
I agree. But guys, that was it. That wraps up our post-show for WWE Evolution 2. There were some post-show press scrum notes that you can check out. That Fightful.com will have the coverage for you. The new Fightful.com, by the way. We have a site migration that happened. Let us know of any bugs that you run into there, but it's running smoothly over there so far, I think. So check those out. I will say I also have a video on my own YouTube channel that has a spotlight on 10 women in WWE who I feel like maybe deserve a little bit more shine. Natalia certainly on that list, unsurprisingly. Or Secret Hervis is on that list too. But head over to Miss Kate Fabe social media and on my YouTube channel and check that out. I picked up like 400 subscribers this week, and I can't thank you guys enough for that, because I quite frankly just very recently dusted off my channel and the reception has been incredible. So please head over there, please subscribe, check out that video and anything else that might tickle your fancy over there. So very much appreciated. Hold on, I'm getting word that we have.
I'm looking for the humper
chat.
now. Where's the
one
humper?
final chat? What a cliffhanger.
I see it. You want me to just read it?
If I were in the chat and saw this, I would say I sent one all the time and just never actually send one and make the host sit around.
That's crazy.
MD Cyclo said, I would say thank God, but thank Mercedes for not only having Naomi cash in, but it being successful. My heart was going up and down through this whole thing. When she came down, I said, hurry the F up before Jade interferes. Tears were shed tonight. Mercedes for Booker of the Year. Yes, she obviously has control over the WWE product too, but MD Cyclo has been a Naomi stan for quite some time. I'm so glad that he, as a fan, got to see this moment, that we got rewarded for tuning in for tonight's show. But that wraps it up here. Cresta, you're incredible. She's on the Collision post show. She's on the TNA post show, but where else can everyone find you?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me over on Twitter at Cresta the Star, shit posting for your pleasure. I also have a YouTube. It is Cresta Star. If you follow me, that'll be great. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will start streaming live on YouTube, because that's the thing where it needs to be at. Outside of that, I stream live on Twitch every Mondays and Wednesdays, in particularly for watch-alongs with professional wrestling. And I have to go to the bathroom, so I'm out of things to say. Your butt looks nice. You look great. I hope you had a good time watching wrestling. Kate, where can the people find you?
You can follow me at Miss Kayfabe on social media and on YouTube. You can catch me all over Fightful. I do the SmackDown post show and the NXT post show, as well as Fightful Select post shows for PLEs and pay-per-views, and for Monday Night Raw. If ROH decides that they care again, we'll hop onto the TNA post show with Cresta and Joel. Mark Order every Wednesday night. That's the Mark Order podcast, talking all things All Elite. But we appreciate you hanging out with us through all of our coverage this weekend. We had so much of it for you, and the support was absolutely incredible. Also, follow us on social media and follow Fightful Espanol for all of the updates in Spanish and just featuring Spanish talent and all of your favorite lucha wrestlers across the board. Thank you so much for your support this weekend. Have a safe and wonderful wrestling upcoming week. We hope you had a great weekend too. We'll see you on the next one.